and welcome to Qatar 365, the show that offers an inside look around Doha and the local areas with me, Miranda Ati. On this episode, we're exploring the ways in which traditional heritage can still be seen in today's very modern culture, from the desert to the sea. So what better place to be than Qatar's classic market, Souk Waqif? Coming up, we're camping and glamping in Qatar's desert, finding out how classical craftsmanship is getting a refresh and setting sail on a traditional dhow boat. Thousands of Qataris leave the city each year for a desert escape. Sleeping under the stars is a time-old tradition that's also being adopted by those looking for a little more luxury.
Hundreds of winter campsites dotted along the dunes. Every year, the government assigns a camping season and, permits approving, many locals set up their temporary dwelling in the desert. It's an age-old tradition.
ولو نرجع شوي في التاريخ طبعاً أجدادنا هم عاشوا هذا الشيء. هم عاشوا فترة الخيام وبيت الشعر، نقضي اللي هي نهاية الأسبوع في هذا المكان. طبعاً قبل لا يطلع النفط عندنا في قطر كانوا يعيشون هي حياة بيوت الطين، وللأمانة كانوا يعني راعيين، يعني مثل ما تقول في الشتاء تلقاهم في البر وفي الصيف تلقاهم مع البحر.
عندنا هالقعدة والقعدة اللي هنا، وفي قعدة ثالثة صغيرة يعني حق إذا كانت مثلاً كنا الشباب أقل، فأغلب الوقت نستعمل إحنا هالخيمة حق القعدة، سوالف، لعب ورقة طبعاً. عندنا نفس ما تشوفون ملعب الطائرة.
And it's mostly a place to come to have family fun, form friendships, and unwind. Not to mention learn some essential skills.
الاعتماد على النفس، إنك بتنام في مكان صحراء أو إنك بتنام في مكان يعني في خطوط، يعني المكان خطر يعني. بمجمل الكلام اللي عندنا تستضيف أي كان، لو كان غريب نعرفه أو ما نعرفه، فيبقى المكان مكانه.
And from these customary winter camps, we travel over the dunes to another kind of camp near the sea that attracts anyone wanting a similar experience with some extra frills. This camp in Sea Line says it offers 5-star service in the middle of the desert.
At first, this was just a regular Qatari camp, and later on, in order to meet the demands of the guests, we expanded and we created more sophisticated service for the customers. We have tried to blend the traditional Arabic hospitality with the modern hospitality, and we cater to all types of guests. Within the camp here, we organize different kinds of entertainments, shows, DJ nights, ladies' night.
Some choose to camp in a luxurious tent, while others opt for even more creature comforts.
I've been camping for simple camp. It was nice, but for sure not like this. We were planning first to go to a hotel. But then I decided, no, why we have to? And in a hotel, you will go, you will sit down, you will have your dinner, you go upstairs to your room, nothing to do. But here you will enjoy till even after midnight. You can enjoy the moon, you can enjoy every moment.
While most of these campsites seem to have modernized to accommodate today's visitor, it's the outdoor experience and going back to basics that still attracts both tourists and locals.
The ancient craftsmanship of pottery is being revitalized by popular Qatari studio Ceramic Cube, which provides workshops, materials, and bespoke pieces. A custom integral to local traditions and culture, founder Hamid Al-Qahtani is putting a fresh spin on Arabic pottery and ceramics.
Ceramic Cube was actually a dream that's becoming a reality finally. It's all started 2017 to 2019, where I sought pottery or clay as a release, a de-stressing technique. But then I realized during these 2 years that there is actually no foundations or facilities to support anyone looking to do this trade. You had to get everything from outside, for example, Europe or in the US. So I decided to put it on my shoulders to establish Ceramic Cube. Almost you can think of it as an incubation for anyone who's interested or looking to learn this ancient craftsmanship.
What inspires you when it comes to pottery?
Mostly my emotions. Sometimes I'll be missing my family and I'll just think about my daughter while I'm making a vase, that like what would make her happy. Sometimes I will be just making shapes that reminds me of the nature. For example, it's windy, stormy, so like I'll try to get some pieces that are just not uniform, wobbly. But yeah, it's mostly based on what's happening around me and my emotions.
How are you revitalizing a very traditional art when it comes to pottery here in Qatar?
There is a whole huge missing gap that when you tell someone ceramic or tell him pottery, they don't know that they interlink, that's actually the same process. So that's what we're trying to bring, that we didn't lose our craftsmanship. The utilization of it is just changed over the years. So let me introduce you that you can still get back to that old trade by making things that you can use in your normal daily life.
You've mentioned it being a sort of a release, it helps with stress. What's the kind of the feeling that you get when you're at the pottery wheel?
Come to us one day when you're really stressed, and then we will ask you by the time we are done here, how do you feel mentally? Come to us when you're really excited, and by the time you leave, you are gonna be not excited to the point you go do something crazy, but you will be able to be balanced. So pottery is not that it's really one thing to fix any of your problem or your mood issues, but it's basically something to keep you sustainable, something to give you balance. And I think it just has to do that with the clay. The clay is a natural thing, so think of it as something that relieves all the negative charges from your body when you work with it. And of course, the smoothness of the clay when you're working in the pottery wheel is just it just plays with your sensories to the point you get ecstatic in your head.
What does the future hold when it comes to ceramic cube?
We would like to see pottery as something that anyone can achieve or aspire to do, just like painting or any other of the artisanal crafts, by making the materials and the resources available. The dream, though, have our own factor that we eliminate all the carbon footprint from the mass production of ceramics by utilizing all the creative people that can be in our community, whether here in Qatar, the GCC countries, or Europe, just so that we replace all these mass production ceramics with something that has a soul and it's handmade.
During the 19th century, pearl diving was big business in Qatar. In fact, up until the 1940s, the pearl trade accounted for a major share of the economy, employing nearly 50% of the population. Divers would sail across the ocean in these sailing boats known as Daus. And they remain an iconic sight and a vital part of Qatar's heritage. Against the backdrop of the Doha city skyline, close to the sea, fishermen are practicing long-established customs. Some weave nets by hand. Others whittle wood to create the shape and long thin hull of a traditional dhow. Khaled al-Badra learnt all he knows about boats from his grandfather, who was a captain.
The new generations, boys, girls, they don't understand what was happening before. This is very tough life. So we'd like to introduce those items, those parts which are being used actually by them.
That includes weights tied around the foot to stop divers from floating, the baskets used to collect oysters, and nose pegs which allow the pearl divers to essentially free dive. Former pearl seller Ibrahim Abdullah has agreed to meet me aboard a dhow to explain how the pearls are separated, sorted, and ultimately priced.
فيروح الطواش قاعد يفرزه يدور حتى شيء عنده في جمع ويفرز كبار صغار عند الاخر مثلا يبي يشوف اذا كان وحده سليمه ولا شيء ياخذها كذي ويشوفها يعني ما في خدوش ما في شيء سليمه بالطريقه هذه لان البعين المجرده ما يمكن يطلعها بس ممكن تشوفين كذي تشوفينها.
Oh wow, it's huge, yeah, I can see.
بعدين في هاي المشاخير عشان يحدد الاحجام كبيره صغيره فيحطها وعشان يحدد الاحجام يكتف المشخره هالشكل وحده بعد وحده وحده بعد وحده مثلا كذي يشخله الصغار يطيح والاكبر حجم يظل فطبعا اللي هي الكبيره بيكون سعرها اكثر شيء وبعدين عندش مثل ما تقولين الميزان يحطه بالميزان ويوزنها شكل هذا الميزان، وبعدين يتفقون على السعر.
In the past, dhow boats like this would go on pearl diving missions that could last for months, bringing back sparkling jewels and riches. Now the boats are hired out by tourists and locals alike, eager for a slice of history and to enjoy a sometimes windy day sailing on the Arabian Gulf.
الضيوف اللي يجون على دولة قطر زين لتعليمهم شنو ثقافتنا، شنو هذا المركب الخشب، شنو الاشياء اللي عاصرها في الماضي من امور لما يروحوا اجدادنا الاوليين يروحون على البحر يتمون بالاربع شهور 5 شهور 6 شهور يتموا بالبحر، شنو الاشياء اللي عاصروها في صيد السمك، شنو الاشياء اللي عاصروها في البحث عن اللؤلؤ. فنحاول قد ما نقدر ندعم هاي السياحه والحفاظ عليها للمستقبل الأجيال اللي بعدنا واللي بعدنا واللي بعدنا فيها.
Pearl diving is no longer a primary source of income, but it's clear the ocean, fishing, and of course the dhow boats themselves still hold a special place in the culture of Qatar.
What an adventure from duneside camps to sea-borne dhows. And that's all we've got time for on this episode. But if you have any questions, just reach out via our hashtag Qatar365. Thanks for watching. Do check out euronews.com for more and join us again next time on Qatar365.